Hello guys, it's Tommy. I'm here with Jake, and you're listening to Talkin'Smack Sports Podcast. Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. I'm Tommy here, joined by Jake as usual. Hello, Jake.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Tom.
Okay, so we're just gonna get right into it today. Obviously, don't forget to follow the social medias. The Instagram is booming. Just add Talkin'Smack Sports. Follow that. It's booming.
Yep.
Doing a lot better than the Twitter, which is at Talkin'Smack_pod.
We're getting some professional notice, getting the name out. So big things on the horizon.
No, Jake's lying to you. Jake's just making stuff up as usual. Don't listen to him. Nothing's going on. Okay, so we have a lot of NFL news to get into today. We've just had a flurry of NFL news here as we are in between preseason week 3 and preseason week 4, which should usually be a quiet week, mostly just finishing up 53-man rosters, but we actually had a lot of news. First, we had 2 record-setting contracts. First of which, Aaron Rodgers, who received today a well-deserved 4-year, $134 million extension, 100 of which is guaranteed, $103 million is guaranteed. Absolutely deserved, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
They had to. It's a Super Bowl caliber team with it, Rodgers, and without them, it's like a 4 or 5 win team. So, and they even traded Brett Hundley today too. So that.
Yeah, the Seahawks finally got their quarterback.
Yeah, the Seahawks needed their quarterback in the future. They settled on Brett Hundley instead of Teddy. Wait, so was that a 5th-round pick or a 6th-round pick or something? They couldn't just go down to a 3rd rounder for Teddy. Like, I'm pretty sure the talent difference is there between Brett Hundley and Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah.
Anyway, that opens up Sam Darnold, who's now going to start week 1. It looks like.
Yep.
And
confirmed.
He looks ready too.
Yep. That's what I've been saying. That's what I always thought.
The weapons aren't there, but he looks ready. They just aren't. I mean, Robbie Anderson,
Jermaine Kearse, Bilal Powell.
That doesn't count as a weapon. He sucks.
Brandon Marshall, I think.
I don't really know what team he's on these days. He might have retired.
Yeah, I think he's a free agent, technically.
Yeah, no one wants him. Then the other one, Odell Beckham Jr., also well-deserved 5-year, $95 million extension, 65 of which is guaranteed. Both these contracts, by the way, set the annual salary and guaranteed money at their position.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense to me.
Yeah. I feel like Rodgers' contract, it's such a big jump from what we've seen in the past for annual. Mm-hmm. Like, we were in the mid-20s, and now we're at, 34. I feel like the next, because usually it was just the next quarterback contract would surpass the past one. But I feel like most quarterbacks aren't really worth that. Because, you used to just go up in $1 million increments. It was Stafford, Garoppolo, Matt Ryan, just, all, kind of tier 2-ish quarterbacks. But I don't think there are many quarterbacks in the NFL that you really need to pay more than a third of your salary for, or more than a third of your cap for.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see how that works out. When I don't know when there are free agent quarterbacks next, but that'll be interesting. I think Odell is the standard where the next wide receiver, whether it's Julio, Antonio Brown, Michael Thomas, AJ Green, one of those guys, is going to is going to break $100 million probably.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's not that far off. It's only $2 million higher than Antonio Brown's yearly salary and $10 million more guaranteed than Mike Evans' current salary.
Yeah. Or
contract. Next, we have more contracts. The Bengals went a little crazy today. They signed Geno Atkins for a 4-year, $65 million extension, and Carlos Dunlap for a 3-year, $45 million extension, really securing that defensive line, but they suck, so this makes no sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really get it.
Suck.
I don't know why they extend them so much.
They're not making the playoffs.
No, they're not even. I think they're going to be one of the worst teams.
Are they in the AFC North?
Maybe because their division's weak, but...
No, I don't know what division they're in. What division are they in?
Oh.
I didn't say can they win. They're not winning shit. I said, are they in?
I'm not 100% sure. I'll check.
It's either North or East.
Even if they did make the playoff,
even if they did make the... They're probably the worst team in the AFC North. Steelers, Browns, and Ravens.
Yeah.
Worse than the Browns and Steelers. The Ravens and them are just both bad, but I think the Ravens are better.
Obviously, the Steelers are like the successful dad, and then the Ravens are the successful son, and then it's like the Bengals are just there, and then it's the Browns are like
I don't know what
the
comparison you're
redheaded
making
stepside.
right now, but it doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
Anyway, that's a lot of money. That's combined about, what, $15 million there. It's $15 million on both guys. It's like $30+ million yearly that they're paying for their defensive line now.
Yeah.
We'll see. Next we have bad news just keeps coming for the Eagles, it feels like to me. It just seems to be more and more leaning toward a Super Bowl hangover type season. They may not even get out of their own division this year. Cowboys could be back. Who knows? Anyway, Alshon Jeffrey, news came out that he's definitely going to miss the first 2 weeks. He could miss more. He could miss 3+. He's had injury problems his whole career. This is nothing new. He had surgery, rotator cuff surgery in February or something. Not a doctor, but surgery's bad. So that's a problem, obviously. Jay Ajayi has missed the last week and a half of practice. And there's now serious concerns he could miss the first week and even more. I think Carson Wentz probably isn't playing week 1.
Yeah. I think they'll be fine.
You do?
Yeah. I think they'll still probably win week 1. Depending, I don't know who they play, but they're probably...
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I think the week 1. I feel like past week 1 is the real thing. They'll probably make the playoffs, but I don't think they're going to the Super Bowl this year.
I don't think they are either, but I still think they'll be good.
Yeah, of course. I mean, they're not going to go playing the Super Bowl not being good.
Yeah. They play the Falcons week 1.
Yeah, that's the first game of the year, Thursday night, September 8th. So a week from Thursday. Falcons. I think the Falcons going to be in for a bounce back year, though. Personally, they had an all-time great offense 2 years ago, and then it was still a very good offense last year. Just people thought it was bad because compared to your all-time great offense, it wasn't as good.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see. That'll be a good first matchup to start off the year. Yeah, we'll have to see. Wentz is going to be a game-time decision for that game. Foles has looked horrible throughout the preseason, so I don't know if you'd rather have a Wentz that hasn't had any reps or a Foles that's been horrible in all his reps. Or do they just go with the Nate Sudfeld IU alone? Okay. So next is Dez Bryant.
Okay.
Dez Bryant says he wants to wait a little longer until signing.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to make a roster, personally.
Well, he would make a roster if he would sign a contract. He just declines everything. Word now coming out that he declined a Browns offer, too. He just doesn't want to play for less than he thinks he's worth, which is fine, but he's kind of stating the obvious. Everyone knew that he wasn't going to be in a roster week 1.
I think he thinks he's a little better than he actually is, in my opinion. At this day and age,
I still think he's pretty good, personally.
He's still good, but I don't think
he's still definitely a red zone threat. He's not like the best receiver in the team, but I'm still voting for the Packers to get him. I'm not voting, but urging. I think the Seahawks are my second favorite now. because they seem so obliterated at wide receiver, and they could use a red zone threat after they lost Jimmy Graham.
Yeah. Well, there's not much time left.
I mean, he's the kind of guy that can also, I think, sign week 8 and be fine. I think he can keep himself in shape. I trust him. Teams will have injuries. Obviously, if people get hurt during the year, it's going to happen.
Yeah. It's true.
Whatever. Jalen Ramsey. Jake, you know more about this than me, I think. Do you want to explain it?
Yeah, so a defender made a tackle on Marqise Lee, and from what it looked like, he could have hit him normally, like above the waist, but he kind of dove at his knees and basically clipped him, running head on, and now he's done for the year. So I agree with Ramsey. I think it probably was due to the helmet rule. I don't think people should blow it out of proportion, though. But, I mean, in the end, you'd rather have your brain than your knees, so, I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, obviously more of a, standing up for your teammate type of thing here.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think we should really be dug deep into, especially coming out of the mouth of Jalen Ramsey, who doesn't really think before you speak, we could say.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, especially with Jalen Ramsey. I think he's lost, I think a lot of people are getting a little tired of him talking, so I don't think it'll get blown out of proportion.
Absolutely, yeah, but obviously this is the first time. I think he makes a good point still, though. That these, knee tackles are dangerous. Below the knee tackles are dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of a lose-lose for the NFL, too, right?
Yeah.
They're not changing the rule.
Yeah. And one thing I think they should look into is why can the offensive player duck his head but the defensive player can't? Because that doesn't make much sense either.
Yeah, just duck your head. You can't even duck your head into their chest. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
The NFL, the offensive player, the running back can just Ezekiel Elliott can just truck through the lane, and you just have to stand there and take the hit as the defensive player.
Yeah. I think they should. Do you think they should issue a thing where coaches can challenge helmet to helmet, or can they already? I'm not sure on that rule.
No,
I don't think they
challenge penalties. No.
Yeah, but do you think they should be able to?
No, I think penalties are subjective and shouldn't be able to be challenged.
With an early rule like this, though, there's going to be a lot of controversy, and it's going to decide a lot of games. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know about decide a lot of games. Might decide a few, but for me, I just think it's a slippery slope to allow coaches to challenge judgment calls, right? Some calls pass interference is a judgment call. You can't challenge it. Stuff like that, roughing the passer, it's kind of a judgment call. Most penalties are kind of judgment calls. The refs are trained to do their best. They're doing their best. They don't always make the best call, but I don't think we can just start challenging every single time they make a call that might be questionable. I just don't think challenging penalties is ever going to be a thing.
Okay.
That'd be like challenging fouls in the NBA. That'd be horrible. It'd be a disaster.
What about, even if it's under 2 minutes?
Are you restricting it to only those kind of penalties then?
Yeah.
I mean,
not all penalties. You can't throw a challenge flag on a false start.
I mean, it starts with just that, but then all of a sudden you're challenging pass interferences, and now you're challenging roughing the passer. Don't you see what I mean? It feels like a slippery slope.
Yeah.
Maybe the referees should be able to overrule each other or something, but a head referee can issue a challenge, but I just feel like the concept of challenging judgment calls is a bad idea. It's going to make the refs look even worse than they already do right now.
Yeah.
Because no one even knows what the rule really is, right? I mean, does anyone really know what the rule is?
On the helmet to helmet?
Yeah, well, I mean, we know what the rule is. We can read the rule in the rule book. It's like the touchdown rule last year. We can read the rule in the rule book. But do we really know how to enforce it? if you're not a ref, do you really know what situations? Like, everyone kind of has a grasp on pass interference and what's a penalty and what isn't, in terms of that.
Yeah.
Right? Because we've seen it so much. But this is a new rule where, okay, it's going to take a while for the average fan, or even anyone that's not a ref or not part of the game, just watching, to know. So if we don't even know, like, I feel like I just don't think penalties should ever be challenged. No, I don't, even in 2 minutes.
Yeah, I bet you if like there's a stat for this, 50% of what would be considered a hard hit there'll be a flag thrown on it for helmet to helmet, whether it is or not.
Yeah, well, you can't make a stat on
I bet you it'd be close to 50%.
Yeah, like, you can't make a stat on that because it's hard to define a hard hit. Like, these are all just such like subjective, qualitative terms. Nothing about this is numbers based at all. It's all so subjective. Which is, I mean, the game has to be subjective. You can't make the game completely objective. It's not possible. There's no way to. I mean, the ref job. They're just making the ref jobs harder, which they really shouldn't be doing because they already get enough crap for their calls.
Yeah.
I mean, pass interference alone, like twice a game, people are up in arms about pass interference calls. This is going to be worse.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be horrible for refs. We'll make it replacement refs again. We'll make all in strike.
Yeah.
I mean, I would hate to be a ref right now. So, just imagine being a ref and watching, like, every single player hates the rule. You know that you're just going to get yelled at constantly by players. Yeah. All the fans have said they hated the rule. Everyone has said they hated the rule. But you have to call it. It's your job. So,
I mean, yeah, honestly, I don't think... it's not that hard to call. It's just hard to deal with.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's the same with a lot of their calls. Like, pass interference is a pretty easy flag for them most of the time, I think. You see you see contact after the ball is thrown, you throw the flag. But it's not an easy one to deal with because no matter what, the defender's always going to be up in arms about the call, even if they held them all the way down. It's a given. Half the fans in the stadium are going to be up in arms with it. After watching TV, I mean, it's just, football's in a hard spot right now because they felt like they had to make this new rule because the ratings are dropping.
I'm sure it's nothing they can't handle, though.
But are they really handling their situation like now very well?
Well, I'm just saying I think it's a situation that refs can handle just fine. I think that happens. I think that happens every single game for them. I just think it's another.
But they got to be getting a little fed up with, like...
No, for sure.
Now they got the touchdown rule changed on them this year. Because they got yelled at about that all year, last year.
Yeah.
Like, they just feel like puppets. Kind of... The NFL makes their rules and they don't have to deal with it. It's all the refs that need to deal with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, I think that's all we have today.
Yep.
Alright, so we'll see you in the next episode. Yeah.